What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze. And I apologize because I am late as hell again. And what I have discovered, it doesn't really matter what the start time is, baby. Late. Late is what I shall be. And I'm sure that's part of my undiagnosed mental condition, but that's neither here nor there. Don't even worry about that shit. Hey, I hope y'all are doing well this evening. Shout out to all my folks that have if not perfect attendance, very good goddamn attendance in the building. Fire fam, or what is the dilly? Shout out to Holly, Celia, Swery Ferry, Pam Jones, the Jamon, DJ Vespa X, Lady Alex in the building. Who else we got in here? Check in. CBC voter. Is it CBC voter? I think so. So y'all, appreciate you guys hanging out with your homie. During winter in America, if you're not familiar with the Gil Scott Heron classic Winter in America, it's almost like a poem. You know, Gil Scott, obviously a very famous, infamous, legendary, iconic spoken word artist and poet. And even though he sang on Winter in America, I mean the verbiage was poetic, right? So anyway, Winter in America, as we dig out from an ice storm across the Midwest and the Mid-South and here on the East Coast, the whole country is attempting to dig its own self out from the federal ice storm that we are being subjected to. And instead of occupying traditionally black and brown neighborhoods, areas, places, now everybody getting everybody getting some. And it's sad that it had to come to these latest tragedies. Of course, most recently, the Saturday killing in Minneapolis of Alex Pretti, they killed a nurse. They shot this man in the face, which is outrageous. It doesn't even matter what. They shot him in front of everybody, and that was to send a signal not just to the rest of us. No, that signal was directed towards the whites. They're letting the whites know that if you thought for a second that your privilege, your skin color was going to help you out here, even though whites have largely been exempted from, let's say, the Kavanaugh stops that ICE and Border Patrol are conducting on non-white communities, basically giving the police carte blanche to racially profile folks based off of their skin color, their accent, their language that they speak. Kavanaugh stops, right? Whites were exempted from the Kavanaugh stops. I heard of no Ukrainians. I heard of zero Polish people. I heard of I know there was some random whites that have been thrown into the ICE custody system, but they have certainly not been targeted and profiled in the same ways that especially our Latino neighbors, our continental Africans, our Caribbeans have been targeted very specifically. And now the Trump administration is letting all you left-wing lunatics, all you left-wing lunatics, that his ICE agents have been given the green light. Even though I hear Trump is trying to walk some of his rhetoric back, he's trying to tamp it down a little bit. I'm assuming he heard from the 2A all day from my cold dead hands crowd. Maybe they checked in with Trump and team to let them know, listen, this may be a bridge too far here. But here's the problem. And I'm very encouraged to see people in the streets. I'm encouraged to see people who have never before been in the streets come out in the streets. And while part of me is glad, another part of me is like, why did it take to now? Why did it take for Alex Pretti and Renée Good, white folks, regular ass white folks coming out to protest against their government? Why did it take for their murders to start to bring more folks out? And I think that Alex's murder has been well documented and has been well covered. So I'm not going to talk about it here tonight. But what I do want to talk to you guys about are updates, some of the latest details about folks whose names have not been as well known, folks whose stories are not as well known as Renee Good and Alex Pretti. And we're going to start in Los Angeles with the murder on New Year's Eve of Keith Porter Jr., the 43-year-old father of two girls. Keith Porter was a beloved member of his family, a beloved member of his community. On New Year's Eve, he was out celebrating near his home in Northridge, California, in Los Angeles County, by firing off a rifle. Now, America, I know you've never heard of anybody firing a firearm on New Year's Eve. I know that's completely unheard of. Must be why the ICE agent responded in the way that he did. And let me be clear here, the off-duty ICE agent who killed Keith Porter was a resident of the apartment complex there on Roscoe Boulevard, Northridge, California. Maybe he still fucking lives there. Maybe some. But what the agent alleges is that he was pursuing an active shooter situation. He claims he heard gunfire in his area, in his neighborhood, in his apartment complex. And he left his second or third story apartment with his ICE service weapon and went downstairs to investigate. Bitch, you are not the fucking police. And somebody needs to explain to these ICE agents and to the greater community that when you encounter ICE, you're not dealing with cops, okay? You're dealing with motherfuckers who are there to allegedly address immigration, not active shooter, not traffic enforcement. But anyway, this piece of shit pig who killed Keith Porter and lied about it, and who also had the backing of the Department of Homeland Security to uphold his lies. Well, he's been identified. And I want us to go to ABC News Los Angeles for the story. Let's check it out.
Court documents appear to reveal the identity of the off-duty ICE agent who shot and killed a man in Northridge on New Year's Eve. Those documents say the officer is believed to be Brian Palacios. The documents were filed by the ex-husband of Palacios' current partner. This is part of a custody dispute. Palacios and his current partner live in the same complex where the shooting took place that killed the 43-year-old Keith Porter. Documents say Palacios was also known to have guns in his home. We are waiting to hear back from both Palacios' attorney and the Department of Homeland Security to confirm whether he was, in fact, the person involved in that shooting.
Yes. So the off-duty ICE agent who murdered Keith Porter Jr. in cold blood and blatantly lied about it has been identified as Brian Palacios, maybe a resident still of that apartment building on Roscoe Boulevard, which is public information, by the way, in Northridge, California. And the reason I want to drive that point home is because these people cannot be allowed to exist amongst us. They cannot allowed to be going to the gas station, to the grocery store, to the motherfucking Planet Fitness. Okay, like you need to know who he is. And if you find a picture of public servant.
Where's my fucking money?
Oh shit! Oh shit! What the fuck? Hello? Okay, that was weird. Somebody at my door asking for their fucking money. What the hell just happened there? Okie dokie. All right, let me pick up. Let me see if I can rewrite this train of thought that just got derailed. Let me pick this back up. Y'all know who these people are. Follow all of the apps, all of the websites that are letting all of us know the identity of these ICE agents who have been allowed to roam amongst us, kidnapping people, brutalizing folks completely anonymously. Okay. These people are threats to the public safety. These people are threats to your community. Brian Palazzo literally gunned down a devoted father of two, and allegedly LAPD. I'm not sure if it's LAPD or if it's the sheriff's department or whoever the fuck is supposed to be investigating this murder. this murder of Keith Porter Jr. And raise your hand if you have confidence in LAPD's ability to motherfucking run a legitimate, credible investigation of a murder conducted by a police officer. I have no faith, none whatsoever. And let this be another highlight of the fact, like, we cannot make any distinctions between ICE, Border Patrol, Homeland Security, and your local doco police. You know why? Say it together, gang. Cops ain't shit. All of these motherfuckers ain't shit. They are members of the biggest gang in this country, law enforcement, right? They have no desire to hold each other accountable. They have no desire to bring I won't say rogue cops, because I think that's a misnomer. All these fuckers are rogue, right? All of these cops believe that they are above the law. All of them believe that the same standard that applies to all of us for abiding by the laws and rules of our society do not apply to them. But you know what does apply to them? They have to go out in public, beloved. Okay? And the social outcasting at minimum is where it should begin. When the residents of Northridge, California, especially those that live along Roscoe Boulevard, where this fucking pig supposedly lives, according to public information, when y'all see him, don't serve him. Or if he's coming to your establishment, or an establishment, a food establishment that you are familiar with, I won't say encourage people to tamper with his food, but maybe don't discourage it. don't discourage it. Maybe. And I'm just spitballing. This for entertainment purposes only. Don't take none of this shit seriously. But maybe circulate his picture around all the local eating joints and say, if you do serve him, serve him, okay? Like, serve him some of that good gooey ooey. You understand? There has to be consequences. And if the criminal injustice system has no intention, no will, no follow through in order to hold these murderous pigs, these kidnapping pigs, these human trafficking, raping, abusing pigs to any sort of account, we got to do it in the ways that we are able. Can we go in there and arrest them? No. Can we go in there and do to him what he did to Keith Porter? Not recommended. that is not what I'm suggesting. But I'm suggesting you let this motherfucker know that you know who he is, you know where he be at, and that he is not welcome, at minimum. Hoping to see justice for Keith Porter Jr., though I'm not even certain what in the world that could even look like. I want whatever his family wants. Let me put it that way. So Keith Porter Jr.'s killer has been identified, though not arrested, not in custody. I'm assuming he's still very much on the job, right? Committing heinous acts across SoCal unabated. But even before Keith Porter Jr. was killed on New Year's Eve, Silverio Villegas Gonzales out of Chicago. This happened in October, gang. And I think this was, I'm not even sure if it was the first. It may have been the first, not the first person to die in ICE custody since Trump returned back to the White House, but maybe the first person to die via ICE shooting. I hope I'm saying that accurately. If I'm not, I'll be happy to make a correction. But this happened back in October. And it made news. It did not make nearly as much news as the murders of Alex Pretti and Renée Good, as you can imagine. Silverio is a father who that same morning had just dropped off his two kids at school, two small children. He worked in a kitchen in Franklin Park. I can't recall. This is right there outside of Chicago. I can't recall if he was a resident of Franklin Park or did he work in Franklin Park. He had a connection to that community. And when looking up stories about him, I found an interview from his boss who absolutely contradicted what ICE initially tried to say. What they tried to say is that Mr. Gonzales, during an ICE traffic stop, attempted to run over ICE agents, and that an ICE agent was dragged for a distance, sustaining injuries. And as a result of him being so scared for his wife, he pulled out his pistol and shot and killed Mr. Gonzales. Story made some news, did not make nearly as much news as these other recent ICE murders out of Minneapolis. But even in the immediate days after this killing, the ICE account of what happened quickly started to fall apart. Let's check out this package here detailing what the body cam showed. And again, this is not a recent story, everybody. Here we are in big January, October, November, December, January. We're talking 3 or 4 months ago. So I'm hoping that in the wake of ICE murdering these white folks in the street, people will remember that they murdered this man in the street as well, except in Chicago. Let's take a listen. It should be the second one or the first video listed. There we go.
Area 2 closing operating around schools, which is something
No. So I'm sorry. That's LA Taco. That's okay. It says it has his name, and then it says new body cam footage. It's towards the top. Shout out to Brother Latif, everybody, pushing the buttons on the back end. Y'all put some flame emojis up for Brother Latif. Pushing the boutons, pressing the boutons. New body cam shows ICE lied about killing Silverio Villegas Gonzales. Did you find it? So while Latif's getting that together, everybody, I would love it, and I think I've said this before. Okay. So, in the wake of what happened to Alex Pretti over the weekend, this is the first time, maybe since Trump has been back in office, that I've actually seen the White House press corps push back on what has been presented by Cunty Nome and Greg Bovino about the circumstances or the facts that led up to Alex being murdered by ICE agents. And if the media were to take into account, which they don't, they treat each of these incidents as though it's a brand new thing. Police killed. Police said that the suspect. It's always this, this breathless reporting, like these motherfuckers have not shot and killed many folks before the latest person. And I would love to hear some of this reporting caveated just a bit, just a little bit. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem denies that her agents had anything to do with, the murder of Alex Pretti. They claim that he attacked them bearing a weapon. And this isn't the first time that the Homeland Security Secretary has misremembered I just say it the fuck it is, misrepresented the fucking facts. Back in October, a man in Chicago was shot by Border Patrol or ICE agents, and the body cam footage did not bear out what the agents had told investigators. This seems to be a continuing pattern from this department, where when they take the life of a person in the streets, what they come back and tell the public differs greatly than the facts that eventually come out. And that's why so many people in this country look to police in such a trusting way because you're never fucking reminded by the media about the previous 100 times these niggas done lied about some shit. And it really does the public a goddamn disservice. It places all this misappropriated and unearned trust and expectation into law enforcement when they have done fuck all to deserve it. Did you find the clip, please, Bravo Latif?
Severe injuries.
Okay, I think we got it. So this is a story again. October 20 and 25 is when this man was killed, and the story quickly started to fall apart after that. Let's go to Chicago for what was the
Just
update
after
at the time.
Shooting, he said this.
So it froze, or I'm not sure what happened. You don't have to. Lord have mercy.
So it's freezing. The video is freezing itself. I'm trying to figure out why it keeps freezing because certain ones are freezing and the other ones aren't. But I'm gonna attempt to run it again. I just give
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Brother Latif. We appreciate it. But please don't forget this. Don't forget this man's name. Don't forget Keith Porter Jr.'s name. Don't forget the name of Geraldo Lunas Campos, the Cuban migrant who was strangled to death in the El Paso. Okay, is it playing? We're having some technical difficulties here, gang. Stand by.
Just some left knee injury and some isolations to
Yeah, you got to play from the beginning because you're losing the context. Yeah, if it's getting to a certain point and stopping, then maybe we should just forget about it.
My Chicago Tribune colleagues, they also said that the surveillance footage they reviewed showed the officer running along.
Yeah, let's forget it because this is
Okay.
okay.
Gonzalez's car, but it was.
Yeah, fuck that. I mean, nah, this is fucking up my flow. Anyway, please go look up this man, Silverio Villegas Gonzales, in Chicago, murdered by ICE, October. Lift his name up as much as you are Alex Parady, as much as you are Renee Good. And let me say this real quick, gang. And again, I want to be clear here. I mourn those folks. I mourn Alex and Renee because they did what we've been telling white folks to go out there and go fucking do. Go out there and put yourself between these pigs and the folks that the pigs are terrorizing, the communities that they are blatantly attacking and have been attacking. We've told you that y'all were less likely. And I meant that shit. And you're still less likely, okay? Still very much less likely. But now they're letting you know that it's not an impossibility. And that y'all will get the John Brown treatment. John Brown, also labeled a domestic terrorist of his day. But the difference between y'all, well, the whites between the new whites and John Brown is that y'all don't have to break into no fucking armory to go get a goddamn thing. Okay, you can go right to the goddamn store and make sure you got them tools. And unfortunately, Alex Pretti had the toolie on him, and it was not enough to save him. Some even try to say that it might be the reason that he died, that he's dead. And the only way that this man could even backwardsly be blamed for his death is that he truly believed that he in his own country was safe because he was law abiding, because it was his constitutional right. And it never occurred to him that the Constitution may not apply to him. I'm probably certain on some baseline level, he and most of the woke whites understand this, that your level of privilege in terms of your safety versus the state it goes pretty far. Comparatively speaking, if talking about, you know, either the black or brown people experiencing that level of privilege, it doesn't exist, right? So and I feel for him because he believed that the Constitution applied to him and it would apply to him. Except in Trump's America, it doesn't. You got to be the right kind of white in Trump's America. Maybe you always had to be the right kind of white, but I think you definitely got to be the right kind of white to have the complexion for the protection. And the way that the MAGA bunch have totally turned on one of their 11 commandments, I would think, thou shalt bear arms, like as serious as the crackers treat gun ownership. The heel turn on smearing Alex Pretti because he was indeed within his rights carrying a pistol. And they talking about, well, why did he show up to the protest? Why did he show up to the protest armed, bitch? Have you motherfuckers never been to, especially the 2015 kind of Trump rallies? You never been to a NRA rally, for my cold dead hands rally? Come on. Bring the guns out. Them niggas bring the guns out at the football games. Like, be serious. Let me pull up my other thing here. But y'all, I was watching TMZ earlier today because, you know, I like to be informed. I like to stay informed. And TMZ is probably about, like, I cannot stomach cable news. I really can't. I can't even do like the Sunday shows anymore because they're quite nauseating. So I'm like, okay, well, TMZ is about the level of banality that I can actually tolerate. And I'm saying that also very tongue in cheek. I know good and goddamn well that Harvey and Charles are not the leading leaders in bringing you accurate, unbiased news. However, today they featured Ben from Midas Touch, which I thought was interesting. And they gave him a kind of lengthy interview. And one of the things he said towards the end that kind of stuck with me was, you know, obviously reporting about the shootings by ICE killing people in Minneapolis. But he went on to say, like, all I want back is normalcy. Can we get normal back? Can we get back to normalcy? And I'm thinking to myself, what does normalcy mean to this white man? Like what? When ICE agents and law enforcement were only shooting down black and brown people? Is that the kind of normal that you're speaking of? Is that the kind of normal that you want to return to? Because let me be good and goddamn clear. I have no interest in getting back to fucking normal. You know what I'm saying? I don't want the continued racial profiling, detention, incarceration, torture, abuse, inevitable, perhaps murder, or driving people to the point of unaliving themselves. See, that's not the kind of normal that I want. And what Trump's America 2.0 is exposing to white folks is that the violence that you are seeing some of your folks be exposed to is everybody else's fucking normal. Okay. Like the reason why black and brown parents have to give children advice about how to deal with police and how to survive. See, that's black and brown folks normal, right? That's never been white folks normal. So when white people talk about they want to get back to fucking normal, I have to give them the big side eye of skepticism, because that tells me that you didn't see anything really wrong with the way the country was before under Biden, under Obama. Those are the good old days, right? Those are the good old days. Why can't we just get back to that? You know, Mike Brown got murdered in Ferguson by Darren Wilson in 2014. Tamir Rice murdered by police outside of, you know, in Ohio where he was. Let's just get back to that kind of normal when it was just people that didn't look like Ben from Midas Touch on the receiving end of state violence exclusively for the most part. And I'm not accusing this man of being racist or anything like that. He just gives the normal, the standard aloofness that unfortunately most white people in this country have. And maybe the murder of Alex Pretti and Renee Good is waking folks up out of this whiteness stupor, this comfort, this placation of being white in America. It dulls the senses. You're like, I don't see why everybody's so mad. You don't see why everybody's so mad. And the thing about it also, I think about these horrific stories coming out of ICE detention, again, of the Cuban migrant whom witnesses in the El Paso ICE detention facility, Geraldo Lunas Campos, witnesses said that they saw ICE agents or border, whoever the fuck is manning the goddamn jail, choking this man to death. The medical examiner ruled Mr. Campos's death a homicide due to asphyxiation, right? That murder. That's murder. With the Homeland Security Secretary, under who's the other cunt besides Cunty? Tricia McLaughlin, the other cunt, right? Her statement came out and said that they either think it was either something to the effect of they believe he harmed himself, or another standard story that the police and correctional officers love to say when a person dies in custody is that they were having a medical emergency and then they stop breathing, right? As though the hands around their throat are not the reason why this person stopped breathing. So allegedly, according to some reporting, the witnesses who saw Mr. Campos get murdered, allegedly by these jail minders, these jackbooted thugs, those witnesses have already been deported, or their deportations were expedited to basically get them out of the country so they could not be witnesses and they could not provide any sort of accounting to whomever might be investigating, and God knows who is investigating what. But this is all very familiar in America, guys. I think about all of the Black folks who were lynched in this country over decades, over generations, whose deaths were never looked into, never investigated, or even worse, it was common fucking knowledge who lynched these people, and they were allowed to go about their lives in everyday society, raise their children in peace, go to the store, go to church, right? No accountability in this life, right? And this is what I do not want for us. This is not the lynchers don't get to walk around comfortably. The lynchers, if the system is not going to go for them, I do think we should go for them. And or if we do not go for them, then their everyday life needs to be made as uncomfortable as possible. What episode of Black Mirror was that? And I know you're like, what do you mean, Kim? The January 27th, 2026 episode of Black Mirror? That y'all, if you haven't ever watched the Black Mirror series on Netflix, two things. Don't watch it episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is not the way to do it. there is a method to the madness. You need to watch these episodes in a somewhat specific order. But my God, what a prescient series. There was the one episode, of course I can't remember the name of it, but the man, of course, excellent description there, Kim. One of the main characters of this particular episode was a white man. I can't remember what the fuck he did. He did something, but the nigga was blocked from society. Like when people looked at him, they just saw like a red flashing no kind of symbol to indicate that whatever transgression he had committed was so egregious that he was blocked and that really other people couldn't see them. That is how we need to be treating these fucking pigs. And I don't mean only the pigs that have killed people. We need to be treating all these fucking pigs this way. And I'm talking about your cousin that's the cop. Okay, your cousin that's the cop. You got to tell grandma, stop letting Daryl come over here. You know Daryl the goddamn police. Grandma, I know that's your grandson, but Daryl is be out here doing people wrong. Grandma, don't let Daryl come over here and see you no more. I'm telling you, like, people need to be ostracized. They need to be made to feel and feel the consequence of their actions and of their decisions. I don't even give a fuck if your family member or friend is a so-called good cop. No, nigga, they are not good cops. No such thing as a good cop, because the good cops will stand around while the so-called bad cops commit all kinds of untold fuckery, and the good cops will stand there and keep their secrets, ergo dismissing them and disqualifying them immediately for being good cops. Anyway, hold on. I'm gonna move to my next. Oh, no, I'm not moving to the next. Una momento. Hold on. Because we do have this LA Taco piece that I wanted to show you guys. And if you're not following LA Taco on the socials and supporting them, I believe at lataco.com, independent journalists doing fantastic work there on the ground in LA and the Southland area. And we certainly appreciate Memo Torres and his team bringing us these daily updates, which are absolutely heartbreaking. But this daily memo from, I think this was the 23rd of January, again, highlights the fact that in Minneapolis, for example, when you see the chief of police in Minneapolis talking about his officers hold a certain level of decorum and professionalism and all this bullshit, basically trying to say that the Minneapolis Police Department is executing a higher professional standard of law enforcement than these ICE agents are. And it's like, sir, kindly go fuck yourself, because your police department murders people too. Your police department brutalizes people also. We can name the names, okay? So don't come around here like always like you the hero. Like you the fucking anti-hero out this bitch. No, cops ain't shit. You ain't shit. ICE and Homeland Security also ain't shit. But in this LA Taco piece that we're about to see, Memo points out a very good point, that allegedly if the cops, whatever law enforcement department, local police department, are supposedly, well, our cops, LAPD and whichever one, Minneapolis police, Chicago police, we are, our officers are not cooperating with immigration, Lord have mercy, immigration activities. We are not participating in immigration enforcement. Okay, so then why do y'all escort all these fucking ICE, Homeland Security, Border Patrol, jackbooted thugs? Why do you escort them to all the corners of the city where the local police know where the migrant communities are? So again, cahoots, all the cops ain't shit. But check out this piece from LA Taco for highlighting, as the comrades would say, that contradiction. Let's take a listen.
Went on lockdown in Anaheim area. Not because Border Patrol ICE was targeting specifically, but because Border
Can you
Patrol
start it down from the beginning?
very too cozy operating around schools, which is something I reported on earlier this week. At least one of our reporters, Izzy Ramirez, received several messages from students in these schools.
Can we start from the beginning?
Today's January. Went on lockdown in Anaheim area. Not because Border Patrol ICE was targeting specifically, but because Border Patrol agents are just getting very too cozy operating around schools, which is something I reported on earlier this week. At least one of our reporters, Izzy Ramirez, received several messages from students in these schools who were afraid. Today's January 23rd, and it's day 231 of the ICE siege of the U.S., or the U.S. siege on itself. Now, today, they were all over Anaheim and Fullerton areas, hitting the recycling centers, picking people off the streets, doing Kavanaugh stops, questioning people. Yesterday, they were in Southeast LA. They were in Cudahy, Southgate, Linwood areas, doing the same thing. And I could talk about all these incidents. We're going to have them posted on lataco.com. But I have a question for all police departments. You say you can't interfere with federal immigration operations, with the DHS, ICE, Border Patrol. Yet, whenever they give you a call, you're more than welcome to interfere with a community watcher who's trying to do the protecting and serving that you say you can't. You go in and look for reasons to give them a ticket. You'll arrest them like you did yesterday in Bell when you took L.A. Hoodlum, the beloved community watcher and responder who goes around to help people alert their communities and document what ICE and Border Patrol are doing. You detained them for a little while. The community came out. You released him. There was a big old event at the city hall where the city council, the mayor, and the police chief were all called out by the city rightfully. But why do you do that? If you can't interfere, then why interfere at all? Why are you more than happy to step in for agents that can't even qualify for your job? They tell you they're better than you. They're quick to let you know that they have more authority, more power, and that you can't mess with them. But here you are, running along and doing their bidding. Doesn't that anger you? I mean, it angers the community, that's obvious. But if you can't interfere, why interfere at all? Why get in the way of the community patrollers if you can't assist them? Like they say in Spanish, si no ayudas, no estorbes. Anyways, food for thought. Remember to stay safe and stay vigilant, folks. Today about
Rosalba, what's the translation? I got the first part of it. Sin no ayudas. If you're not going to help, what's the last part he said? Then shut the fuck up? No, he didn't say that. Or maybe it's get out the way. I don't know. But shout out to LA Taco for doing fantastic work in reporting and for asking the questions. Appreciate that memo, because what is your local police department doing? How are they interacting and engaging with ICE? And how are they interacting with ICE as ICE engages with the community? Are your local cops, are they protecting ICE? Are they serving as ICE's personal escorts around where you live to terrorize your immigrant neighbors? Like, these police departments, any trust that the community at large may have had is quickly getting erased. And let me say this, I'm hoping it's the trust that the whites had in the police. That is what I hope is getting fucking erased. Because, you know, black and brown folks, again, never no faith in law enforcement as a whole, because we know what their creation and the mission of these institutions are to do. They are to keep you niggas and you Afro niggas, you Afro Latino niggas and y'all and your light-skinned Latinos and your Native American or your indigenous. That's to keep us. The police are there to keep us in line, to keep us segregated away from the wealth and from the property owners and all this shit, right? That is their job. But it's like, I hope white people understand that the police are an operation only there to protect property and, I guess, some whiteness, some status whiteness, some moneyed whiteness. And maybe white folks won't be so quick to call police on other folks. Anyway, no, that's asking too much, Kim. I'm sorry. I know for a goddamn fact that every white person living in this fucking country knows that they can always dial 911 and have the police come to them as some sort of community, not community service, customer service, sort of like Geek Squad, right? Like every white in America knows they can call 911 on a black or a brown or a non-white person, and the police are going to show up almost like their personal security detail, right? Every white person knows this. And the ones that call the police on black and brown people, especially for no fucking reason, which happens quite a bit, they know that. They know that they are pretty much summoning the executioners to come and deal with a black or brown person. And that's a power that I believe, I think only white folks have. I guess black folks can call the police on each other. But at the same time, you know, me as a black person calling the police on another black person and the police show up, they might think I'm the goddamn, like I'm the one getting the cops called on, right? White person, just by the benefit of their, you know, alabaster skin upon presentation, they are given that benefit of the doubt that maybe they are the aggrieved party and not, in fact, the suspect. However, but I don't know. Maybe white folks are being awakened. No, that's not true. maybe they're reconsidering. There we go. I don't think, because I don't think these niggas is asleep. at all. I think white folks know exactly what the fuck time it is. Even the racist one, even the MAGA ones know exactly what fucking time it is. But are they being realigned to reconsider the role that their own actions plays in how others are treated in our society? I'm very tired. Let's move along to my other enemy, not the whites this time, but the men. I mean, not my enemy per se, because I do got one that I like quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep him around. However, there are a lot of predators. There's a lot of abusers. And I think that we are in a point right now in this country where we have a really unique opportunity to sort of shape the way that the country moves forward. And while we are dealing with the usual demons of fascism that have been with us for an extended amount of time, even beyond this reiteration of Trump and company, we still got to deal with the regular everyday predator and abusers that live amongst us. Okay. Yes, the one that living at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is one that needs to be dealt with. However, it's going to be hard to get to him. You might be able to get to some of these folks. And I wanted to say, gang, you guys know how I feel about rapers, child abusers, domestic abusers. I think people should kill them. Okay. KILLT. I think they should be killed. Okay. Killed. I can't. There's no measure of justice. There's no duration in a jail cell. There's no amount of rehabilitation or therapy or anything like that. If a person, namely a person, if raping is in their DNA, that's what they're gonna do if they have the freedom and the ability to do it. And when it comes to sexual assault, child abuse, and domestic violence, these are not issues that our criminal justice system takes very seriously. In fact, complainants and or victims usually have to provide a very irrefutable amount of evidence in order for anything to be done, either for charges to be brought or even a bigger hurdle for a trial or for a person to actually be convicted of for what they've been accused. And let me say this, everyone accused is not, that don't mean they did it. However, I take multiple accusations very differently because I want to bring you guys this story. And interestingly enough, as I looked, all of these stories is kind of out of the Northeast. This first one comes out of, oops, did I skip over something? I may have. I'm sorry, Lateef. My bad. I'm gonna come back to that ice in Hawaii story. I'm gonna come back to that, but since I've already moved along, let me keep it moving. So the first one that we're going to be pulling up is a 27-year-old. And this 27-year-old, Philadelphia, pay attention. And let me say this, I hate that. I just hate it, y'all. A couple of these stories I'm gonna bring y'all. Some of the accused are brothers, right? Not blood brothers related to one another, but black brothers in my community of brothers. And I hate that. I hate it. I hate it for a number of reasons. I hate it that this is not particular to the black community. This is just how abuse works, period. But predators abuse who is near them, who has proximity to them. And we live in America, which is an overall segregated society. So chances are a lot of the abuse and or harm is going to be intra-racial, right? Happening, black people are abusing other black people, white people are abusing other white people. It's bad. Okay. But it tells me, number one, that this is an issue that is a prevalent problem throughout all communities, irrespective of race. And I don't think any community, to be quite fucking honest, though I don't know how my Arab Muslims handle such things. And nor do I know how my indigenous folks handle such things. But I can speak to being black and surviving a thing or two, and nobody who hurt me ever got beat up. Nobody. But guess what, gang? There's still time. There's still time. You want me to drop a couple names and locations? Because there's still fucking time. There's no expiration date on ass whoopings for being a fucking predatory, abusive piece of shit. And if some, I won't even say brave, ambitious. There we go. If an ambitious person amongst you would like to get vengeance on my behalf, send me a message. I'll drop you some names and addresses and say, go get them niggas. Please and thank you. Just don't text me about it. if you gonna go get them niggas, be smart about that shit. Don't send me no goddamn DM with the nigga face beater. Don't send me that shit. But make sure I see him, but just don't send it to me. Anyway. So killing the rapist. There we go. So let's circle back to our topic at hand. How do we deal with fucking abusers in our community? Well, dialing 911 is not always the answer, nor is it the solution. And I understand that I'm in my house behind a microphone with a camera. Real easy for me to say, go kill these niggas, right? But I'm thinking, since there does not seem to be much will in the community to really do anything seriously about those that target women and children, I'm talking to the girls here real quick. Hey, ladies, what do y'all think? A girl squad to go and track and target, and if need be, fuck up the harmful men, the predatory men, the ones that are out here harming us and our kids. Because unfortunately, the mandem doesn't seem to be interested in fucking these niggas up. I do not know why. These niggas, we shouldn't wait till they get to jail for them to be dealt with by incarcerated folks who actually have a true sense of justice when it comes to dealing with those that do harm to women, children, and elders, right? However, I was thinking, I bet you there's a lot of angry survivors out here, right? Angry survivors, women survivors, right? Bunch of angry survivors, right? Because that guy that harmed you, nothing happened to him, did it? Police didn't come get him. Your brother didn't go beat him up. Nothing happened to him. He just got to go on with his life, knowing what he did to you, and chances likely lots of others. Girls, as far as I'm concerned, ain't no statute of limitations on that shit. Okay. And if somebody, law enforcement, want to come and have a conversation with me about advocating for violence against rapists, well, if you punk motherfuckers were doing your job, if you created a space in which women survivors, children survivors felt as though they would be believed, and that something will be done, hey, maybe we wouldn't have to hunt these people. We need to go be hunting these fucking rapists the way that ICE is hunting fucking migrants, except, our cause is righteous. And I think this is a task that women should undertake. And maybe I'll start a Discord group and we can talk about shit. We can figure the shit out. And I would love, what could they even charge us with, girls? Conspiracy to fuck up a rapist? Please. Not guilty, Your Honor. Miss Brown, how do you plead to conspiracy to commit harm against rapists? I plead, I don't know, should I plead? No, I ain't pleading guilty. Fuck that. Not guilty. Not guilty anyway. Bravo Latif, let's go to this first story. Philadelphia, pay attention, because even though the cops have got this guy off the streets, as you will hear in the story, this guy has multiple accusations against him and would have more convictions against him if his survivors would have followed through in the court process, which I do not think. I think that's an unfair burden to place on people who have been traumatized, that they have to go and re-traumatize themselves. But this is the system in which we live in. That's why we need to change the system and work outside of the system. But anyway, listen to this. And most importantly, Notice his name. Philadelphia, pay a fucking attention. South Jersey, pay attention. Delaware, pay attention. Because it's a chance this guy could get out of jail. You need to know who the fuck he is. Let's go ahead and run the story, Brother Lateef.
Behind bars tonight after Philadelphia police say a
Start
brave
from the beginning, please.
27-year-old Jonathan John behind bars tonight after Philadelphia police say a brave 16-year-old girl called them for help just before 9 p.m. Saturday at B and Rockland Streets in North Philadelphia as John was inside a convenience store. According to the victim, John offered her a ride as she was waiting for a bus on Allegheny Avenue at 2 p.m., but never took her to her destination.
Hours in that car, she must have been very, very frightened. She repeatedly asked to go to her destination, and he repeatedly denied her, threatened to pistol whip her.
Police say during that nearly 7-hour terrifying drive, John also sexually assaulted the girl. Police quickly responded after she called 911.
It just so happens that once he arrived here, the investigators noticed that he had on a very distinctive red windbreaker, which was in correlation to an earlier job we had.
Once in custody, police say they were able to pinpoint John as the suspect in an abduction earlier in the day around 10 a.m. on Cedar Street. That victim, a 15-year-old girl, said she met a man that went by John on social media, and he arranged to meet on the premise of a job opportunity and bringing her food. But instead, police say he pulled her into his car, and after driving a few blocks, she escaped when he tried to go inside a store.
Definitely concerning predatory behavior. Like I said, I'm very happy he's off the street. He's pretty much going out there on encountering these juveniles with a purpose. So my fear is that there may be additional victims.
According to online records in the district attorney's office, there are previous victims. In 2016, the DA's office says he was arrested for rape of an adult, but the charges were withdrawn. In 2023, he was charged with rape in a case that involved 2 victims. The case went to a jury trial, and he was found not guilty and acquitted. Then in February of 2025, court documents say a victim told investigators John held her at knife point on West Russell Street, demanded money, and sexually assaulted her. The DA's office says despite months of outreach with that victim, when it came time for the trial, she chose to withdraw from the process and could not be reached by their office or PPD after extensive efforts. And less than 2 months ago, on December 2nd, 2025, they had to withdraw the charges, and John was released from prison.
The DNA evidence alone was not enough for us to meet our burden without a survivor coming forward to explain that DNA was not a result of a consensual act.
They're tough cases, especially when you have someone who appears to be targeting and preying on vulnerable people who are out to target and to be predatory like this. They sometimes get away with it for a while. We want to do everything we can right now to make sure this one does not get away with it ever again, and that he gets the very serious consequences he deserves.
The DA's office told me today they do expect to have strong evidence in these recent cases, including DNA evidence and surveillance video. John is being held on $750,000 bond with a detainer, which keeps him in custody. 27-year-old
Jonathan Johns, credibly accused of multiple sexual assaults, including allegedly picking up not 1 but 2 teen girls in the same day and committing some sort of abuse or battery on both, according to police reports. And you guys know, I think you guys know anyway, the overwhelming majority of sexual assaults are never reported. Let me say that again for everybody in the back. The overwhelming majority of sexual assaults, rapes, sexual abuse is never reported. So these small percentage of cases that actually make it to the police and then additionally result in charges and then additionally result in some sort of, nominal media coverage, you're looking at probably 0.001%, maybe even less than that, of all of the sexual abuse and rape that is committed overall. Most survivors never say anything, let alone report it to the police. Okay. So when I see this 27-year-old with multiple, multiple accusations, some of which included alleged violence, holding a knife to a victim. That's threatening to kill them, right? I can understand why some survivors would pass on the whole court experience. I get it. I get it. You got to go up there and literally bare your soul. You have to relive probably some of the most excruciating and traumatizing moments of your life. And it's not even a guarantee that he will be convicted. So let me ask this, because unfortunately, some of the stupid shit I hear from, I was going to say my community, but I hear from people, period. But not including those within the community, a couple things. Well, I'm saying if you don't want him to go, if you're not going to testify, well, he's not going to go to jail, and that's what you expect to happen. So hold on. A man with multiple accusations, even if his victims refuse to testify, does that make him innocent? So because he has no convictions, that mean he didn't do the shit? Come on. I need everybody to apply their common sense thinking hats here, okay? Multiple accusation likely means that he has more victims than the ones that even came forward, right? There's no doubt in my mind, in my opinion, that this individual is a serial predator, okay? In my opinion, there's little question about that. Also, some goofy shit that people sometimes say. Well, them girls, that's 16, 17 years old. They should know better than to get into a truck with a man they don't know. I mean, that they was almost asking for it. Why you gonna get into a truck with a man you don't know? You don't know that man. Why you accept a ride from that man? Because they're 15 and 16 years old. Because they are teenagers. They are children. They are not grown women. Okay? Some grown women might have made that exact same mistake. Okay? Them being teenage girls, for some reason, I heard all this shit with the Epstein files too. They were 13. They knew what they were doing. No, the fuck they don't. Okay? They don't. Young girls have no idea, none whatsoever, about what a grown man is capable of, right? By default, youth thinks itself to be invincible, does not think that harm will befall them, right? The impetus of youth, as they say. These young ladies, unfortunately, like a lot of us, you learn stranger danger tragically the hard way, right? And unfortunately, some women and girls never come back from misreading a stranger danger situation. So when this man obviously trying to lure, according to police, trying to lure these young women with promises of a job or offered to bring them food, girls, I mean, ladies, not amongst us has never not had a man bring them food somewhere on a job or wherever. Can you bring me something to eat? Yep. And that's all the young ladies probably thought. Oh, he's just some dude who be trying to, talk to me. And he said he going to bring me something to eat. Okay. A lot of people let him bring them something to eat. But again, these young ladies, they are just that young. And tragically, and I don't know the race of these young women, though I would imagine that they're Black. He's, in the North Philadelphia area. They could have been Puerto Rican. They could have been whatever. My guess is that they're not white, right? And young Black women especially are adultified at such young ages because of how they are shaped. It is assumed that they are fast, they are promiscuous. They know what they doing. Oh, yeah, she 15, but she built like she 30. She know what she doing. Shut the fuck up. I need people to please let Black girls be girls. Please stop trying to put us in adult situations or project adult type of judgment and ability to size up consequences and danger. Stop putting that on these teen girls. They don't know for whatever reason. So that's Jonathan Johns. And that's my question. Philadelphia, to y'all specifically. He still has teeth in his mouth. I'm confused. Very confused. And let me say this. I'm not calling out any organization at all, but you guys know that I was following, still continue to follow the work of, I think they changed the name to the Black Lions, the group formerly known as the Black Panthers in Philadelphia. Hold on, I think I got to sneeze. Okay, it went away. I think that was weird. Okay. I don't know what all they do in the community, and this is not a call out on them at all, but whatever self-defense they do in the community against police violence and, you know, all the rest of it, I would love to see some organizations literally take on sexual predators as one of their core missions. And maybe maybe I'm asking myself to do such a thing, because I just don't understand. Oh, I understand. I was say I don't understand. No, I understand all too well why predatory men are allowed to get away with the things that they're allowed to get away with for as long as they're allowed to get away with, because no one wants to physically confront them. They've never had their fucking face broken for picking up a 15-year-old girl in their truck. That's why they keep fucking doing it. And if this nigga got 5 of his fucking front teeth knocked out behind all the women and girls that he's harmed, he would think fucking twice before doing it again. And I appreciate from some of these self-defense organizations in the community the flashing of guns. You know, well, I'm American. Unfortunately, I was conditioned to like guns. I'm sure if I grew up in a normal place, I would probably recoil from guns, you know, like regular people. But no, I was born and raised and conditioned here, so I get excited by guns because, you know, I wish my enemies harm. I don't know how else to describe it. And that's cool. If the orgs want to be out in the streets flashing guns, that's great. But I see these niggas still walking around North fucking Philly given the opportunity to harm more women and girls. And these niggas still have their teeth, and I'm in confusion. I don't understand it. This shit doesn't make any sense to me. The police do not keep us safe. This is well established. They are not the guardians of public safety. We know historically and even currently, accusations of sexual abuse and rape may not be pursued as vigorously, depending on who the fuck the cop is who is taking the report at the time, right? That shit is very likely to fall all through the cracks. But when we know the predator's name, when we know the areas in which they frequent, when someone with ambitious, you know, Google thumbs can maybe find a location for this individual, well, I'm sorry, what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? We wait for him to pick up the next 15-year-old girl, except this time this one won't come back because he might get tired of getting in trouble, so he might kill the next one. So what? Anyway, ladies, well, if you want something done right, ask a woman. If you want some shit done right, ask a woman. And I'm really thinking, ladies, and to be clear here, brothers, you know I'm not bombing on y'all. Well, not y'all in particular. I'm bombing on probably niggas you know. Okay, maybe I'm not talking about you specifically, man in my chat, right? Man who is part of the Fire family. I'm not talking about you specifically because I don't see how you could be here and listen to me talk all this shit about men. But you know, nigga, you know the niggas I'm talking about. That's the thing. I need all my man dudes to be honest about. You may not be him, but you know him. You may not even know him today, but you knew him. You knew of him, right? You knew the shit that he used to do to girls' drinks when y'all was 22 at the house parties. Like, you know, so I can't deal with, I don't know no predator. Fuck you don't. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And you didn't deal with him when he was 22. And God knows how many others he's gone on to rape in the last umpteen years. You didn't deal with them. You didn't. You dropped the fucking ball. You did. And I'm calling on survivors. Maybe we need to pick that ball up, ladies. Ain't no goddamn statute of limitations in righteous time on any of this shit. And chances are, if he hurt you, He probably went on to hurt a lot of others. Anyway, next story. Let's take it to the Bronx. New York City, pay attention. I don't give a fuck if the cops caught up with him this time. These punk ass police and prosecutors be fumbling the fucking bag on the goal line. And it ain't no guarantee that because this motherfucker's in custody now facing charges that a conviction is waiting for him. But oh, alas, hands and feet should be waiting for him. The Bronx. Another brother, young guy, 34 years old. Well liked amongst the student body. A sports coach at the school. Kids loved him. And again, I want you to hear what he's accused of. Accused. And I will underscore accused. I would say I have some journalistic integrity, but when it comes to rapers and abusers, I really don't think I do. I reject it. And again, I'm not here trying to slander, defame, say that people are not innocent until proven guilty. Overall, that might be, it's the way that our system, I suppose, claims it operates, which we know it does not. But I'm sorry. If somebody took, anyway, you know what? Let me come back. Lateef, let's go ahead and run that next story. This one out of New York City. Please note the accused face and name. Thank you so much.
Disturbing story out of the Bronx, where a high school gym teacher is charged with raping a 14-year-old student. Police are now showing his pictures so other potential victims can come forward. He also coached basketball. Eyewitness News reporter Shantae Lance live in the Van Ness section tonight with what we know. Shantae.
Well, Mike, I can tell you, according to police, this all happened more than a year ago in December of 2024, but he was arrested last month and the school has now since dismissed him, that gym teacher and also basketball coach. It's every parent's worst nightmare.
It's scary. Definitely scary.
Police say this man, 34-year-old Javon Johnson, a Bronx high school gym teacher and basketball coach, was arrested and charged for allegedly raping a 14-year-old girl.
I was completely shocked. He used to say hi to my son every day.
Police say Javon Johnson taught and coached basketball at the same school, Icon Charter School 2 in the Bronx, as the 14-year-old student.
That's crazy to me. That makes me want to take my child out to school. That's very unsafe.
Court documents reveal that more than a year ago, in December of 2024, Johnson took the 14-year-old student to a motel in the Bronx called Jet Set Hotel. Police say it was there in broad daylight at 3 o'clock after school on a Monday that court documents say he allegedly committed the act.
That is terrible. It's deplorable and it's disgusting.
For nobody to, I guess, see the energy or like the, I would say like vibe. I don't really know how to explain that. That's just, it's outrageous.
Johnson was arrested last month and charged with rape, sexual misconduct, sexual abuse, and endangering the welfare of a child. He was released on his own recognizance. I knocked on his Bronx apartment door. No answer. Icon Charter School 2 dismissed him from his job.
This is a very reputable school, and I've always felt that my child is safe here. But as you know, you can't always tell who someone is coming in. But I am glad that they immediately dismissed him and they took appropriate action.
Parents say they're just now finding out.
This is obviously something that above anything else, a parent wants to know about.
The NYPD is now releasing this photo of Johnson in hopes of finding more potential victims.
If there were more, I pray for those children. I pray for their parents. And in the end, it is the school's obligation to make certain that these type of issues do not occur at all.
And we reached out to the Bronx District Attorney's Office and this charter school. We're waiting to hear back. Live in the
Disturbing story out of the Bronx, where a high school gym teacher is charged with raping a 14-year-old student. Police are now...
All right. these are one-off stories, but they absolutely indicate a more systemic problem that adults that are charged with the care of your students, with the care of your children, um, are not only pursuing these children sexually, but they are putting them in situations that are inexcusable and are extremely dangerous. I'm going to assume here, even though I'd always stand by cops ain't shit, that was a very specific time frame for when this alleged assault took place. It was a Monday after school, 3:00 p.m. at the Jet Set Motel. I'm going to assume that the NYPD did their due diligence and were able to verify that information, right? Because your phones tell it all. If his phone and her phone occupied that geolocation at the same time, there's a very good chance, because I cannot see what's the valid reason that the 34-year-old gym teacher has to be at a hotel with a 14-year-old student. What's the reason? Like, what is the legitimate reason? There is none. Even if no sexual battery took place, deeply inappropriate, right? And inappropriate is putting it very fucking mildly. He still needs his fucking face kicked in for taking a 14-year-old to the hotel. Let's say nothing happened. You still need your face kicked in, okay? But the child made a complaint. Charges were filed. That's a great thing. But how seriously did the arraignment judge take these charges? Oh, well, he's released on his own recognizance. Oh, okay. I now the story didn't include it, and that doesn't mean that the judge didn't direct it, but I didn't hear anything about, and was directed to have no contact with minors, not to be in proximity of minors or of children. I didn't hear any of that, which goes to show you again, charges were filed, but the predator was released on his own recognizance without any reported directive to stay away from children. So how seriously are they really taking this? And the 34-year-old absolutely knew the 14-year-old was 14. And that begs more questions. Sir, do you have an attraction to pubescent children? Like, I mean, something bad should happen to you because absolutely because of that. And you shouldn't be working around children. You should have no contact, no proximity with children. And trust me, the cops must have an indication that this guy likely has more victims. I would assume that he does, because that's how serial predators work. Serial, plural, multiple. These men have a problem. These predatory, pedophilic men have a problem that jail cannot fix, that therapy cannot fix, but violence could fix it. Violence, I'm saying, how, I mean, listen, I know we're not supposed to be calling on violence. Violence never solves anything. Bullshit. Violence wins wars, bitch. Violence stops the predators. You understand? When they are met with reciprocal violence, oh, it could stop him. So the groups, the orgs that patrol the community in the Bronx, this man is out on his own recognizance. Man, it looked like he had teeth in his mouth. I'm in confusion. The Bronx, BX. What's up? We got to call Remy Ma. we got to call on the real Bronx hitters out here, fellas. Where are you? And again, not all men. Yes, let me say my disclaimer, not all men, but god damn, this is why women be like, yo, we can't count on y'all for protection. Niggas don't even protect the kids out here. And you don't protect the child by shaming the child, okay? The 14-year-old is still 14. The 34-year-old is the adult with the sense, the common sense, allegedly, the moral compass, allegedly, well, she knew she wasn't supposed to be leaving the school to go hang out with him. Why she go with him? Why she? You hear that shit all fucking day. Thank God we ain't hear that from none of the parents in that clip. But I'm certain, perhaps around the neighborhood, like in the elements that persist, in which victims are blamed for their own harm, please do what you can to nip that shit in the fucking bud. I don't care who it's coming from. I don't care if it's coming from an elder. And usually when the elders talk that crazy shit, well, she was fast in the tail anyway. She blah blah blah. That comes from a place of hurt. Okay, you are likely talking to an elder who was a survivor themselves, which is why they say that stupid shit. Okay, because they did not, tragically for them, the times in which they were raised, victims were always blamed for their own harm. Why were you out so late? Why did you get in the car with him? Why did you drink so much? Well, why did you wear that? Well, what did you expect? Well, what did you think? Like, I want all of that sort of nonsensical questioning that victims always get. I need that shit to be burnt with fucking fire. And I need fucking foot to ass to be put to these fucking predators. And the same sort of social outcasting that I would love to see these killer cops get, I need to see these goddamn fucking predators get too. Shouldn't nobody cut that man's hair? Should no, that you shouldn't get no haircuts. You shouldn't get his locks retwisted. He shouldn't get no fucking oxtail from the goddamn Jamaican corner store. The niggas at the bodegas tell him that his money ain't good here. You gotta go, dog. You better foot it up to 7-Eleven or the Dwayne Reed. You can't come into the corner store bodega, nigga. We know who the fuck you are. Make them feel it. If the cops and the justice system, injustice system, doesn't have the will or the ability, or it's confined by, well, that's just the way the law works. Okay, where does the community step in? Kids, believe me. I'd be way more dangerous if I wasn't disabled. Bitch, if I was still driving, niggas would be in trouble. Niggas would be in trouble because I got sense enough to leave my fucking phone home, bitch. You're not gonna track me running recon on a goddamn person, bitch. Because number one, nigga, I know how to get around without goddamn Siri giving me turn by turn directions. I know my fucking way around. I could leave the phone at home and you niggas can't track a fucking thing. If I was driving, niggas would be in trouble. I promise you. So whoever out there driving and want to come pick me up and we can do the mission, yes. But you got to leave your phone at home. I can't be rolling with no smart dumb niggas, okay? Because you taking your phone with you, bitch. You want to get caught. I do not. Thank you so much. Next story. This is the last one. And let me say this. I think I've said it. I want to see predators teethless, curb stomped, found submerged in a river. we can roll it down. We can roll it down because I don't take anybody fucking seriously about community safety if you don't say anything or raise the alarm or raise a solution about what to do with the fucking predators. Next story. I think this is out of the Philadelphia area also, though not in Philly City proper. I can't remember if it's in one of the counties. Is it Bucks? Is it Montgomery? Is it Lehigh? I can't remember. Shout out to Philly. You know I love my 215s. Even you 610 niggas. I like y'all too. But shout out to the 215. You know what to do. And gentlemen, since I've been talking shit about you or talking shit about the unreliable amongst you, let me remind you, men, that you too can be victims of sexual violence, which is another reason why you should want also all of the male predators to go away. And by away, I mean 6 foot under, right? Because as much as male sexual predators are a threat to women and children, they can also be threats to men. And if you think it is difficult to get women and girls or women and children to come forward to report a sexual assault, almost impossible to get men to do that, because men know exactly how victims of sexual abuse are treated. Men know that women, especially who report sexual abuse, are disbelieved, that there is very little legal action that comes out of these cases. So this individual, the accused, 61 years old, but I'm sure this is their first time ever harming people in this way, because that's how it works, guys, right? Most predators wait until they're old to start offending, right? Anyway, Brother Lateef, let's get that queued up for you. Pay attention. Philadelphia. Oh, and this one's a white. And trust me, and you know what? I may alternate when I do these features on the sexual predatory dirtbags. I may do a slate of all blacks, and then the next one I'll do slates of all whites, because I don't want y'all to think that I'm prejudiced or anything. It is fuck them all, okay, across the goddamn spectrum. If you coerce or are abusive to people, I don't give a fuck what race you are. I want to see you 6 feet under. I would love to see great bodily harm come exclusively to you and only you. I don't give a fuck, okay? Because if you are black and you are abusing people in the community, you're not my fucking brother. Not even close. So anyway, I'm sorry. Brother Lateef, go ahead and let's run that piece, please. Thank
Turned
you.
an indictment against a Burlington County man who's accused of drugging and molesting 2 men who were renting rooms at his home. 60-year-old Craig Cardella pled not guilty to 17 counts of kidnapping, 18 counts of aggravated criminal sexual contact, and dozens of other charges. Investigators say a man told police he awoke to find Cardella in his bed, holding a mask over his face and touching him sexually. A search of Cardella's home turned up chloroform, prescription sleep medication, and a camcorder, according to police. Turned an indictment against a Burlington County man who's accused of drugging and molesting 2 men who were renting rooms at his home.
So Burlington County, that's Philadelphia area, right? Burlington County. Oh, wait, that's Jersey. Isn't Burlington County South Jersey? Regardless. Nigga, chloroform? Chloroform? The shit that you put on a rag and stick over someone's nose and they instantly lose consciousness. Oh, that kind of chloroform? What a fucking scumbag. You dirtball ass piece of shit. Please, gentlemen, don't think that you could not be a victim. Even worse, please don't think that your male children could not be victims. Pedophiles and abusers and rapists count on the shame and the silence, and I bet you they count on it double and triple when the victims are themselves male. Because of the homophobia that exists in our society, my guess is that that's what largely keeps most male victims quiet. They don't want to be thought of as gay. And the problem is we fundamentally misrepresent sexuality on a spectrum, and we misrepresent consensual and not consensual stuff. If a man abused a boy or another male, the victim is not rendered gay if that was not their sexual orientation to begin with, right? But the fear and the stigma that comes along with being painted that is enough to keep victims silent, which is why this guy, and I'm not certain if this is this man's first time being charged, though I would my guess would be no, but who knows? These predators hone their tactics over long, long periods of time, which is why they're able to go harming so many folks for very, very long stretches And again, they count on the unwillingness of law enforcement to follow up on such accusations. They are counting on the unwillingness of the survivors to put themselves through what will undoubtedly be a re-traumatizing experience, having to deal with the police and the courts. And they play on that fear until they get to be good and fucking old. And here's the thing. If they are able to manipulate people and the system to the extent that they are 60 plus, just getting caught for the first time, know that there are probably dozens of victims in his wake. And his time is up. Okay. I believe survivors. I do. I believe that this man likely did what he is accused of. So what should happen to him? If his victims decide not to go forward and testify for whatever reason, which, by the way, is their right, not a failure on their character at all. I don't blame any victim or survivor who does not want to go forward with the court process. That is where the community is supposed to pick it up. Because we know that this criminal injustice system is not the best arbiter of guilt and innocence. There are lots of innocent people sitting behind the wall right now. Lots of them. And there's a lot of guilty motherfuckers out here walking free. So at what point do we believe survivors? How many accusations, how many accusers have to come forward to say this person harmed me before the community believes them? Fuck if the police believe them. And then what happens? I mean, again, maybe I'm just projecting here. Maybe I make an assumption, a fallacious assumption about the power of the male body. I just think that if I were male, I could do more. I just think if I were male, I could do more because I just see what all, how men are allowed to move in the world, right? Anyway. So I wonder, as a woman, why men don't do more. I'd be in confusion. So all y'all got to do the same way y'all meet up to go fucking run some ball, nigga. Meet up and go stalk some predators. Fuck him up. He ain't gonna tell. That's the other part. Because predators are usually soft as scrotum skin, okay? And I think even to some extent, they are waiting to get beat up. And surprise, surprise, they don't. I'm going to take y'all out of here on a couple palate cleansers. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. All I do is kind of bitch about shit. Nowadays, if you want direction and organization and guidance, you know where to go. Black Liberation Media got it for you all day long, 24/7. You know what I'm saying? You want some direction. You want some people to give you some political education and to help direct your angst, your frustration, your desire to improve society, your desire to free our people. We got niggas for that. They over at Black Liberation Media. I am not such a nigga. I respect what the brothers and sisters and non-binaries do. I respect the shit out of it. I do. I choose violence, nigga. I'm Cersei Lannister. I'm sorry. I am Cersei Lannister. Oh my God. If I had Cersei Lannister type power, woo, there'd be so many niggas dead. Dog. It'd be niggas hanging from the ramparts. Everybody head it would be so many heads on a spike.
Real quick, I have to give credit because you mentioned I got to give credit to Manifesto. Mentioned that you had your Stark letter, the same one that I can't remember her name now. The same one that the sister had when she went on her quest for vengeance.
Oh,
He had the last-
Arya Stark.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, it's funny you
Arya.
mentioned that because the manifesto made that common reference almost.
That's who I would love to be. I think my shadow self is Cersei. My sun self, I would love to be Arya. Arya, yes.
Okay, I got your palate cleanser queued up.
Thank you so much. Do we have any thank yous, or you want to hold them to the very end?
We do.
Okay. Okay, we'll hold
Southside Smitty. It was just a super sticker. Thank you,
Thank
Southside
you.
Smitty, for your
Southside
super
Smitty,
sticker. I
thank you
appreciate
so much. Southside Smitty, you ready to go fuck some shit up? What's up? Boom, 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 boom. I know y'all know what it is. Boom, 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 boom. What's up? Okay. Woo! What happened to Trick Daddy? Woo! That nigga. Woo! Riding around in my brand new 99 four-door Volvo. That's inexplicably, that's one of my favorite lines of rap. And I'm like, I know y'all like, Kim, really? That's one of your favorite lines? It is. I like the way you delivered it. Riding around in my brand new 99 four-door Volvo. And them 99 Volvos was nice. also. All right, y'all. I'm gonna take y'all out a little bit on some these working palate cleansers. So Milwaukee, Wisconsin. While we are in the upper Midwest, the people is coming out to let them know this shit ain't gonna fly. So the chief of police of the Milwaukee Police Department apparently went to Israel to go get trained. Stop me if you've heard this story before, but the Milwaukee police chief got sponsored to go to Israel. Who the fuck knows? This nigga might have bought his own goddamn ticket. Didn't know what kind of time these Klansmen be on. They'd be like, oh, we can go do Klan shit over there too? Perfect. Yeah, sign me up. So at a recent public comment session, Milwaukeeans came through to confront their punk ass police chief about, training with the genociders. Like, what? In what world? Oh, of course, this fucking rotten settler colony world. Yes. In what world could a man tasked to oversee an agency whose mission it is to uphold public safety, meanwhile, he goes over there to get policing techniques and trainings from the genociders? Whoa. So anyway, the people of Milwaukee had some words to his face. I want y'all to keep that in mind. That man is standing right there and listening to them people. And they was nice about it, of course, because they are from the upper Midwest. Shout out to the folks. And because that shit is very true. Midwesterners, especially up there, super nice. The white folks in Missouri, but the Minnesotans and the Wisconsins, nice people. So anyway, Lateef, let's go ahead and run that clip, please.
If you are going to use your counterterrorism training that you learned in Israel, I want you to use it on the real terrorists, and those are ICE agents who are coming into our communities and destroying. So I want you to arrest some ICE officers when they get here and start brutalizing our communities. In the next 30 days, I want you to develop a plan for when ICE comes to town, because they are going to at some point, and when they come, they are going to be violent. That's just the reality that we see over and over. So I want you to have a plan ready for how the police is going to react to that violence that ICE is going to bring to town, and I want you to present it to us in a public forum so that we're aware of what the police is going to do to protect us in those cases. And then I want you to, along with that plan, I want there to be a rapid response team on your force that has a clear plan when an ICE agent carries out a violent incident, that there is appropriate police response to be there and apprehend the perpetrator. What we saw in Minneapolis with the ICE agent, he was a highly trained ICE agent that had been on the force for over a decade. And when he carried out that murder, he walked away scot-free without any sort of oversight. We know the federal government is not going to do anything. And when laws are broken, it's up to you and it's up to our police force to apprehend those violent monsters. Because terrorism is the use of violence to carry out political goals. And that's exactly what ICE is doing. They have a political goal, which is to get rid of migrants in our communities. And they're using violence on regular citizens that are not breaking the law, that are just within their rights, observing them, taking videos, recording them, and they're using violence to intimidate and coerce.
And I just want to ask the commission, if you have the power to fire the chief, because no agent that has been to Israel and trained with Zionist security forces deserves a place on our streets. So if you have the power to do that, or at least launch your investigation, there's Leahy vetting laws that prohibit U.S. funds from being used to provide training to security forces engaged in human rights violations. It was a law passed by Senator Patrick Leahy and requires vetting ahead of trips that involve training or assistance. So those 2 points for the commission. And then to Chief Norman, since you're in the room, if you stay on this job, we have to live with the reality that you trained with Zionist forces and that you carry that with you in your job. So under that reality, I want you to take peace training from members of your community here in Milwaukee to combat the Zionist narratives that were fed to you when you were abroad. And this is coming from people in this this would be coming from people in your community that have direct experience dealing with Zionist security forces, or just people that are aware and knowledgeable of Israel's violent history. And I'm sure the commissioners on this board would be able to pull those community organizers together for you to get that training. And it should last the same amount of days as the training that you took in Israel, because we don't need more bias in our policing. So that's the 3 things for the police commission: fire the chief if he stays, do a peace training with our community organizers, and then use your counterterrorism on the real terrorists, the ICE agents. So I want those 3 things to be your takeaway from tonight. Thank you.
I am here to express my outrage over Police Chief Norman taking a trip to Israel to participate in the counterterrorism trainings. Israel itself is a terrorist entity. They have attacked Palestine, Lebanon, Iran, Syria, and Yemen. How are Milwaukee citizens supposed to feel safe knowing our police is learning tactics from the same people that are relentlessly bombing their neighbors? The Milwaukee Police Department has been steadily losing their credibility with their use of harmful surveillance technology against the community's widespread opposition. And this is just another obvious step away from citizen safety. We cannot trust the Milwaukee Police Department when they frequently do not listen to the demands of the public. The police are paid by the citizens to protect and serve the citizens, yet there is consistently no evidence of officers listening to or serving the people. What the community needs is officers to have proper de-escalation trainings, but instead our police chief is taking secret trips to the highly escalatory terrorist entity of Israel to learn these counterterrorism techniques. Please, I beg that you listen to the community that has showed up today against this. You must put a ban on any future training exchanges in Israel. Our city does not need more military-style trainings that further terrorize the citizens of Milwaukee. This also means not collaborating with ICE, who have been spreading violence and fear across the nation. Remember that this is the community that you all vowed to protect and serve. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. I'm here as an incensed Milwaukee resident, outraged by Milwaukee Police Chief Norman's secretly taking a trip to Israel last year to participate in counterterrorism trainings. This information has further eroded the community's ongoing distrust in the Milwaukee Police Department. To have kept this information from the public shows that MPD and Chief Norman are fully aware of that deep distrust and are completely indifferent to it. Local police should be learning de-escalation techniques rather than escalatory tactics from a genocidal terrorist entity. While the community's outcries for banning facial recognition technology have been completely ignored, please hear the voices from the community tonight and ban further trainings by the Zionist regime in local Milwaukee policing. Thank you for your time.
Good evening.
Shame on you, MPD. The residents of Milwaukee already have zero reason to trust the Milwaukee Police Department, and to the contrary, only have reasons to fear being readily and thoughtlessly killed by you. And with that already true, the head of the MPD, Chief Norman, chose to travel to Israel in secret in the midst of their committing an active genocide to train with their military forces, the IDF, who are the equivalent and beyond of Nazis. That is who you want to model your enforcement practices on. All this while the MPD has spent the last year trying to convince us that you should bring the exact same surveillance technology that this terrorist state, which commits ceaseless and the most horrific we can imagine crimes against humanity, to Milwaukee. This tells us everything we need to know about your plans to protect and serve us. The people of Milwaukee have already attempted to take every civil route to express their painfully valid concerns, fears, and demands to you, and you continuously choose to ignore them all. And now you have actively primed yourself to treat residents, those practicing their First Amendment rights, and simply going about their lives as terrorists. It is absolutely terrifying to know, with no illusions, how little you value our lives, and to imagine what you are bringing to us next. And I promise you, we will not let you. Thank you.
I'm here as a resident of Milwaukee, a non-binary trans person. I live in River West, and nearly every night I hear District 5 sirens from my bed and don't feel safer. I'm adding my voice to all the others you're hearing tonight and to those who want to speak but are unable to. And I hope at this point that the FPC knows exactly the demands to question Chief Norman on his training in an apartheid state, how it was funded, and what he learned from a colonizing occupational force, because we need to know exactly what will be used against us. To recommend that the Common Council ban on any future training and training exchanges with occupying military forces, and to listen to us on ending high-speed chases and the use of facial recognition technology. I want to ground myself and invite you to join me by summarizing these demands as working in every way possible to end complicity in genocidal violence from Palestine to Milwaukee. I had plans tonight to be at a community dinner. I felt some conflict at not being able to attend the school board meeting in support of MPS staff. So I'm not glad I'm here, but I'm glad I can be here. There are so many of us standing with us, whether physically in this building in Milwaukee and just living in this world paying attention. I know who to trust in this room to protect me, my friends and neighbors, and all our children, and I will protect them in the same way. I know who to trust not because of any uniform or position, but because of action that is grounded in love and care. And I hope all of you, all of us, look deep inside and at the person sitting next to you and ask whether you trust them to keep you safe, simply because you are a human being, not because of a badge or money or connections or because of what you can do for them or the value of your property or what you're wearing or what you're paid to do. All of that can change. My humanity, your humanity does not, but it is worth noting that humanity can be lessened or erased, and our white supremacist institutions are very good at that. We need to work as individuals and in community to fight those institutions. So I very much appreciate that civilian oversight and democracy is power that we cannot lose and that cannot yield to racist institutions, tyranny, or fascism. Reminder to know that we all have power. Our voices and lives, including Dontre Hamilton, Sandra Bland's, China Long's, Tamir Rice's, Hindra Jobs, Renee Good's, Liam Ramos's, these voices, these lives, this is the source of that power. And I thank all of us for being here.
So I am always glad when people show up and speak truth to power. Like, I will never get tired of that. But I could also hear from those Milwaukeeans as they were saying what they needed to say to the oversight board and to the chief of police, they knew that none of those demands are likely to be met, right? Because the police are not here to observe what the community's interests are. Like, I would be curious, where in America is the police department responsive to the needs and the demands of the community, especially when they show up in mass, listing very specific things that they want the police department to do, including abandon facial recognition, but obviously most importantly to have it so that no chief of police or any members of the Milwaukee Police Department go over to Israel to train with the genocide squad, right? Which seems reasonable. It seems like a very reasonable thing. I mean, where I know other countries, I guess, send their law enforcement other countries to come train and shit, but does America send? Is Israel the only country in which America trains or sends its local police forces over to go train with Israel? Did they go anywhere else? America's forces, that is. And but the bottom line is this: even white folks are starting to understand that the demands of the public, including themselves, pale in comparison to the demands of the oligarchs, to the tech industry, to AI. I would love to see facial recognition go away, but chances are in Milwaukee and other places is simply going to be expanded. So when the government and its enforcement apparatus, the law enforcement part of it, when they tell you that they don't really give a fuck, and maybe they won't say it explicitly, but they will say it in their refusal to implement your suggestions, right? When they tell you in not so many words that they don't give a fuck about what you want, what your little public demands are. At what point do you as an individual and we as a collective, do we become ungovernable? Okay. And that doesn't necessarily mean going out into the streets on some anarchy shit, right? Though it could, but that's not exactly what I mean by that. But when do you stop paying your federal taxes? Pay your property taxes. you don't want them to take your house, but you don't file your federal state taxes, especially if you owe money. Fuck that. Make them come get you. But all the things that we go along to get along, that we even though they weren't presented to us as options, as though we had a choice to decline whether or not to accept certain parts of the society. Like, when do we say, you know what? This part, I don't think I'm gonna participate in. I'm not gonna file or pay state or federal taxes, for example, because they keep using my tax dollars to fund the fucking SS squads. Like, so how about I stop paying my taxes? And then when you get tens of millions, 100 million people to get on that same kind of time, and that's just one thing that is a, non-confrontational. Well, maybe it is confrontational. I guess the government want their money. They could become confrontational. But again, I actually think that we kind of need to take advantage of this deeply unprofessional moment that the federal government finds itself in, right? Trump reassigned most of the IRS to do immigration and shit. Who the fuck you think is checking tax returns come April? Like 10 niggas. It's gonna be like 20 people in there doing 180 million tax returns. Be serious. It's gonna be several years before they catch up with you for not paying your fucking taxes, right? Pay the taxes that matter. Pay the taxes that don't get you put out. But all that other shit, reconsider. Let me just say reconsider. Let me not tell you don't. but give it some thought. Think about the other ways in which you can become ungovernable, in the ways in which, I'm not going along with this shit. And I would love to see, I think I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. I don't know if it's a Boy Scout troop. Do they even have Boy Scouts anymore? I don't know. But I think that a very ambitious and organized squad of paintballers needs to go online and find the locations for entertainment purposes only. Find the location of these flock cameras and shoot at them bitches. Shoot at them. Take them out. Take them out. I was wondering how the flock cameras are performing under these icy conditions. I said, oh, you could probably bust one of them with a BB gun pellet for entertainment purposes only. You understand? Like, it is time to stop playing by the rules, okay? I'm 47 years old. I got a clean criminal record by and large. You know what I'm saying? There's room for some I got some space on there for some charges if fucking need be. And depending on what the cause is, it could be a righteous charge, a justified charge, a charge you might be happy to take. Let me knock on some wood here before I start talking shit. These niggas show up at my door. Be like, oh, you want some charges, kid? Oh, we can come up with a couple of charges. Oh, shit. I'm in it now. But anyway, these are the things I just want us not only to be thinking about and, brainstorming, but game planning, like, put the shit into action. Anyway, next palate cleanser. I know y'all sick of me. I'm about to turn y'all loose here in about 5 minutes. So when it comes to people confronting and harassing, I won't say harass, confronting. Let's stick with confronting. When people confront these J6 Proud Boy so-called ICE agents, it's usually replete with a lot of profanity and a lot of insults. And honestly, kids, that genre never gets old. People cussing out the police is something I will always enjoy. So when this Latina sister spots an ICE agent, she has a lot of names for him. And to be clear here, everybody, the way that we would treat okay. We can hear you, Latif. You got to hit mute. The way that this woman, let me be clear. So the way in which we treat each other, we are nice to each other. We are not ableist towards one another. We do not fat shame each other. We are not colorist to each other. I mean, y'all can crack light skin jokes. That's fine. But, the real harmful colorism, I promise you, no light skin person has never been damaged. It just got called yellow and they survived. Trust me, it's not the same. But anyway, we don't do that to each other because we're not pieces of shit to each other. However, it is quite okay to be a piece of shit to pieces of shit out in the world. ICE agents are piece of shit. And this Latina sister fat shames this agent in the most hilarious way. And I want to shout out to all my folks that eat tortas. And if you don't know what tortas is, it's like how would you describe it, my Latino folks? It's what, Mexican cheesesteak? It's Mexican steak and cheese? I don't know. Tortas is a delicious sandwich, especially if you can get it before that shit gets soggy, before that bread gets overwhelmed by all of the juicy flavors, oozing out of it. You can get that tortas while it's still fresh and kind of dry. Oh man, delicious. So she starts cussing at this ICE agent, a fellow Latino, in Spanish. Of course, I'm catching only about 60% of the shit, but the shit sounded hilarious when I heard it. And I said, well, if I find this funny, maybe my folks will find this funny also. Even if you don't understand, you don't have to, baby. You understand the sentiment behind it. So it's okay to fat shame piece of shit J6 Proud Boy ICE agents, even the fucking ones that are brown, even the Enrique Tarrios of these niggas. Absolutely shame the shit out of them, hurt their feelings in all the ways. Brother Latif, let's take a look at the clip, please. Thank you.
You put it on the doc.
I did. It said, oh, maybe I see that might be the one. It says Latina sister, and I did label it Latina sister. Hold on. Shit. Maybe I put it down too far. What do you see under palate cleansers?
I found it. Yeah, you put it down a little bit.
Sorry about
that. No worries. Give me like a minute.
Thank you. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Great. By the way, I did not see any new Cops Ain't Shit merch orders. I was disappointed. So I have to order my own self some stuff. Now, to be clear, y'all, I told y'all Pepco's been fucking robbing me. Pepco comes to my house every month and robs me and robs me of my hard-earned money in order to fucking keep the lights on because Jeff Bezos want to put the Amazon workstation data center on the goddamn grid that my neighborhood is on. Piece of shit. So Pepco has been robbing me. So I have not even been able to buy my own gear, but I will. I'm going to get some here soon because I think you guys need motivation. We need to be broadcasting that cops ain't shit from the rafters. And if you can do it from your chesticles with my sweatshirt, even better. You ready, Brother Lateef?
Did you say chesticles?
I did say chesticles. It blazoned across your chesticles. Cops ain't shit. Yes.
Let me get this video.
Play the tape. Play the clip. Hilarious. She calls this nigga tortas. She called this nigga a steak and cheese sandwich in Mexican. This shit is great. You got it. Lateef, go ahead and run it.
They got fucking tortas in the fucking eyes, bro. That's fucking crazy, bro. Pinche tortas, bro. Tortas. Las dos pinches pendejas, bro. Pinches tortas. Cómete algo. Cómete algo, mija. Cómete algo.
Okay, run it again because we didn't get it from the beginning.
Damn. They just be hiring anyone, huh? Mira tu pinche gorda, bro. Pinche gorda, pinche torta, bro. They got fucking tortas in the fucking eyes, bro. That's fucking crazy, bro. Pinche tortas, bro. Tortas. Las dos pinches pendejas, bro. Pinches tortas. Cómete algo. Cómete algo, mija. Cómete algo. Damn. They just be hiring anyone, huh? Mira tu pinche gorda, bro. Pinche gorda, pinche
Now hold on. The pinche. Now, okay, almost native Spanish speaking folks, not you niggas that took 7th or 8th grade Spanish like me. Niggas that really speak Spanish. Pinches gorda. She called him a fucking fat ass. Do I understand that correctly? And then she called him a pinche torta. Now, I don't know if that really, here's the problem. You guys know this. If you from here, if you from America, and whatever, and you took any foreign language, you automatically know that you were taught in the most garbage way possible in order to learn a foreign language. I took 7 years of French, 7 years of Spanish, bitch. The way I am not fluent really makes me want to choke people. Okay. It really, really frustrates me. But so I sometimes can understand, but I lack context. So pinche is fucking, right? Oh no, chinga. Chinga is fucking pinche. You know what? Let me shut the fuck up. I don't know what I'm talking about. But torta, nigga, I know what a torta is. And is she calling this nigga a fucking sandwich? Nigga, you look like a sandwich out this bitch. You look like a Mexican steak and cheese out this motherfucker. Do we have any translations, Brother Lateef? Is anyone offering real? I'm only accepting real translations, guys. No, sometimes I will accept a fake translation. I will accept wrong answers. I'm sorry?
Rosalba got on me. We'll post her comment. She says, as a self-identified gordita, I condone this video. I'm sorry, Rosalba. But I was cracking up. I had to post.
Rosalba, is she calling this nigga a sandwich? Is she calling this nigga a torta? Like, am I understand? Is it the right word that I'm interpreting? Is she talking about the sandwich, the tortas, like the homies be on the goddamn food trucks? Oh, that goddamn torta was so fucking good.
Every time I see a torta, I mean, it comes in all different times. I think they got the Cuban torta, they got the ham and cheese torta, they got they got all different types of sandwiches. But the one thing about the torta is the bread is always the same. So
got to get it quick.
If he's shaped like a large, he's probably shaped like the top bun. So that's it.
But Rosalba, is she calling them a sandwich? Is she calling them the sandwich, or is she calling them a word that I am missing? Okay, thank you so much.
Pamela Jones says Pinchy is lousy. I guess that.
Oh, lousy! I thought she called him a fucking fat ass. See, look at me again. They don't teach you that in 10th grade Spanish. They don't teach you the important words and phrases that you're going to need in the world. They do not teach you such things, which is why all of us who took second language in America none of us can speak to shits. Isn't that something? But that's intentional, guys. That's intentional. They don't want us communicating. They want you to be like, anyway, I don't fucking know. Brother Latif, cue up the last video for us, please. The last video is coming from, dare I say, one of our migrant creators, one of our faves. Now ask me what the man name is, because you know TikTok be putting people's shits in 4-point font. So it's like, nigga, I do not have the eyes of an 8-year-old. Like, what the fuck? So I think his name is Daddy. His account name is Daddy something. But the kid actually he got a little popular around here on DMV area TikTok. And I played his videos here before because he is so hilarious. This brother, I believe, is from Cameroon. And he's funny guy. So he posted this video in advance of the ice storm that we just experienced here in the DC metro area. And for context, in DC, in the surrounding areas, when there's 2 inches of snow on the ground, everything closes. Like, people be like, there's flakes landing on the sidewalk. The children. What about the children? How can we send the children into school in these conditions, right? So 2 inches of snow, the DC area shuts down. So here we got 6 to 10 inches of snow. Right where I live, we got 9 inches of snow and like 3 inches of straight up ice. So people were stocking up in advance of this storm in all the ways you can imagine. So this brother from Cameroon has wonderful observations about everything DC area. He's the one, I think I played several of his videos because I find him hilarious. But I think I played a video here for you guys when he was going around Maryland. And he said he was in Columbia, Maryland, where Reverend Dr. Jerry Ballett. And he said, "Oh, I am in Columbia. It reminds me of London." I said, "No, it doesn't." There's no way in the world Columbia, Maryland reminds anybody of London, England. Maybe London, Ontario, but not London, England. So anyway, this is this brother again with another gem. In the Aldi. I want to say he might have been in the Aldi around the corner from me, to be honest. But anyway, let's check this out. This is a palate cleanser, so laugh, goddammit. Mute yourself, Brother Latif. I can hear you back there.
I believe his name is Daddy Clivert or Clivert. It's Clivert. So I don't know. Pronounce that.
Thank you for that, because I couldn't figure the pronunciation, so I just said the brother from Cameroon. The brother from Cameroon. But yeah, let's go ahead and run it. Excuse me. We don't hear anything. We don't have any sound.
There's no audio coming from the video. So I don't have the mute on. Just give me a moment to see what's going on.
Anyway, perfect time for y'all to send money. So while we wait and during our technical difficulties, BIDWKB, that's us on the Cash App. Who sent money? Patrick S. Thank you. No, it wasn't. No. Well, yes, Patrick S. I think has sent money. Trey D, you sent money. Thank you, Trey D. Donnie Bird, Afraid Not, sent money. Thank you, Donnie. Francis Le Français, aka Freddie French, also ran bucks. Thank you, Francis. Winter, I think I thanked you already, but let me thank you again for doing what you do. And n'oubliez pas, do not forget. How do you say French? How do you say Thursday in French? Is it vendredi? Shit. All this foreign language, Jesus Christ. Thursday, come hang out with me and Ear Doctor for Classical Breakdown. It's not going to play. It's not
It's
playing.
a negative. It's a negative on that video. I don't know. I don't know if I push another button, I may shut the whole stream down.
Anyway, I'm
That
sorry.
was
gang.
actually kind of
I'm trying
funny too. He was kind of funny.
I know, but now you telling everybody it's funny and they don't get to experience the funny. Maybe drop the link for the TikTok in the chat so the people maybe they can click on it and be amused themselves. We're not going to get a chance to laugh all together. That's okay. But go follow the bruv because he's I I dig his content. I dig his content. You know, guys, everything doesn't have to be, educational and shit. You can just sometimes, as I do on occasion, log onto the internet just to laugh at stupid shit. Even though I don't think this guy is stupid, I actually think he's quite clever. But his presentation I find to be so hilarious. So anyway, please go follow and support him and check out that video. We're gonna have to leave with pinche tortas as our as our palate cleanser for the evening. So I thank you guys so much for being here with me. Do y'all like the later time? Drop it in the comments, drop it in the chat. I apologize to you all because I promise you, I am never going to lie to you about any news, any thoughts or reflections I may have about any issue, big or small. I'm never going to lie to you. What I will lie to you about is what time the show is going to start. Okay. So unfortunately, whatever time I say the show is going to start, that's a lie. The lie detector test shows that is also a lie. So just know I will never lie to you. I will never attempt to manipulate or intentionally misinform or present disinformation. The only thing I lie to you about is what time I'm going to be starting the fucking show because I literally apparently lack the ability to be punctual. And I do not care. And I appreciate you guys understanding that it just kind of is what it is. So just keep your notifications on, baby. I'm gonna be around at a time. I'm gonna come on. I'm gonna be on here. Just set your notifications when we finally go live. So thank you all so much. Shout out to all of our fire fam. Sweary Fairy, I see you. Celia, I see you. Who else we got up in here? Peace to the Gemma. Who else we got in here? Southside Smitty. Shout out Southside Smitty. Rosalba over there on Twitch. D the Destroyer over there on Twitch. I know. Who else we got up in here, Latif?
We got Lady Alex, Afraid Not. Noli D stopped and
thank you, Noli D. Thank you, baby.
Shout out Noli D. Don't forget A dropped by. I see that. We were squad deep out here tonight.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
This interface is giving twitchy all night. I mean,
twitchy?
Yeah, it's just really slow to load, like it's operating on a low band. But I do appreciate y'all sticking around. Thank you.
I gotta check. I need to make sure I paid T-Mobile. I got the T-Mobile. This is not an endorsement, by the way, y'all. I tell y'all some of the stuff that I am a customer of, but it ain't to tell you to go over there by any means. I'm just sharing information. So I got the T-Mobile home internet. It's been all right so far. It's $76 a month. That's the fast one, right? They got the regular jump for $35. I said, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to run a fucking stream off the low jump. So I got the high jump, which was still cheaper than what fucking Verizon was trying to charge me for internet. So the jury's still out on this T-Mobile home internet service. I'll let y'all know. But it was a fail tonight. I can tell you that much. The bitch was not servicing. But then again, we are dealing with some weather conditions around here tonight. So who knows? This could be a whole lot of factors. But regardless, thank you all so much for coming through. I appreciate it. Please like the video on your way out. And tune in. Don't forget tomorrow to Black Liberation Media, Women's Wednesdays. Rakita, Erica Keynes, and Jacqueline Lucmon, host of Darker Than Blue, host Women's Wednesdays on the Remix Morning Show, Black Liberation Media, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Set your bells and notifications for that as well. And I'll see y'all back on the morning show Thursday. Me and Ear Doctor also on Thursday for Classical Breakdown. And I think we'll be back here for this show come Friday. Hopefully everything will be better. Anyway, appreciate you guys so much. Be safe, stay free as best you can. Okay. Thank you so much to Male and Latif. Thank you so much. And I'll see y'all back here later. Love you guys. See y'all later. Bye-bye.